Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
Aloha. I thought, hold on. Okay, we're live. Pardon me. I thought we were going to open with something.
My apologies, everyone. I'm trying to cue it up. It got mixed up. I apologize.
You know what? That's okay. Aloha, everyone. And while Allison is loading that up, I will just say, hey, so good to see you. Happy Aloha Thursday. Very exciting day. I've got my gold aloha on. I cannot type and respond to anybody over on Rumble, so I just want to welcome you to the Crystal Ladies Creation and Belinda RN and Bud, Clearly Wellness, and Melissa, who came early today. Yes, we do have our shows every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, I'm ready.
Thanks. Aloha, Allison. We didn't plan on color coordinating. It just worked out this way.
And it landed there. Okay, then. Here we
There's a fine line between conspiracy and reality, Donegan, but I mean, this is too stupid to be stupid. The fact that you don't have this as breaking news everywhere, so people can get out of the way of this, is just unconscionable. And you're going to wrap up a lot of good people who never saw it coming because you can't get out of the way of what you don't see coming. And that's why I even joke all the time, there are a lot of well-read people who just read the wrong stuff that are get hammered by this. And if it can happen in rural Oklahoma, don't think it ain't going to happen in one of these big cities that are loaded up on commercial real estate, that as commercial real estate starts to literally blow up, that will materially affect one of these banks, that they're going to have so much in unfunded or uninsured rather liabilities. It will bring down the system in a daisy chain as everyone runs to, if a big bank failed, if it was a big one and this happened, a real big one, like a large regional bank, like, US Bank, which isn't a commercial bank, it's a big regional bank. They have to have a lot of uninsured deposits. If that happened, how fast would everyone watching this immediately try to get your money out and buy gold, buy a car, I don't care what you buy, get it out. And that's why I've told people who want to own short-term treasuries, buy it directly through treasurydirect.gov. Get out of the way of the banks. If you have more than 250,000 in any one bank account, you're out of your mind. And this is proof positive of that.
There we are. So I want to thank everyone who forwarded me everything that you have. You're amazing. And this is the drip, drip, drip flood part of the most incredible sting operation in the history of humankind. And if you don't know that yet, then welcome, because you're going to need to be prepared and have the information that we share with you if you want to sail through this transition. And please do not believe what you're hearing on mainstream media. They are run by the CIA and the deep state government. And if you think I'm, saying stuff that sounds like a conspiracy theorist, then the only difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is a little bit of time. And the whole concept of a conspiracy theorist came out after JFK was assassinated. And so it was a term to dissuade people from telling the truth, from doing the deep dive, from looking and researching anything that we can so that we know the news. We are the news, the alternative medias and the people, the truthers, the podcasters. I want to thank each and every one of them for what you are laying down and you bringing the receipts. It's just been a humbling, incredible journey from the moment I got into the internet of truthers in January of 2021 and to meet all these people personally in face-to-face conversations with Mark Z, Charlie Ward, Juan 07, etc. We have the white hat military operation working in the background, which the public does not see. And however, millions of people all over the globe know the truth. Different countries follow our truthers, mostly United States truthers, yet there are truthers from other countries, Canada, Australia, etc. It's not just about the United States of America. This whole banking system going to where it's at now to begin the collapse is a global central bank system run by the elites, the cabal, etc., and they run the world. Well, we're tired of the way they're running the world, keeping us as tax and debt slaves so that we can just not quite catch our dreams. And then when you do catch your dreams and you build up your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, your stock market investments, all of those things can disappear so quickly. And that's why I'm wearing gold. Gold is somebody who can afford it right now to buy it, yet silver is the poor man's gold. And we are going to witness the most incredible escalation in the metals markets that we have ever seen. We're going to be clicking on our computer to see the new updates on the value of silver, and it's going to go up, 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 up. So at $34 an ounce, I haven't checked the prices today yet. I would suggest if you can get your hands on a little bit of silver, go to Miles Franklin and order it from Andy or his son or whoever you get. They will treat you very well. You don't have to have any minimums. And he's been really good to the viewers of the Mark Z Show. He was on 8 podcasts yesterday. And that alone was crazy that Andy is, he's been awake for over 3 decades, and his father helped him to get started in his metals business. And he is saying that if you don't buy now, this isn't fear mongering. If you don't buy now, when the shift happens in the transition of the financial markets, we've got BRICS going in, creating their currency and payouts, etc. We've got they've actually exceeded the, let's see, they've exceeded the GDP with $60 trillion in trade. They've gone past the G7. So pay attention. This isn't making your mainstream medias. They're way ahead of the G7. And you know what? They're also, I wanted to say, you're going to have challenges getting more metals. Once this happens, the RV happens to reevaluate currencies from up to 209 nations. We're going to talk about the BRICS and what happened there. We're going to share Mark Z's update, et cetera, and give you more about Andy because they're the professionals. And yet we don't have to be the professionals. We can put our trust in people who are true patriots, whether it's to this nation or your nation. If it's different, Canada is our brother and sister land right next door. Mexico's on another border. And then we have the other ones that are across the waters that are right here with us. And they are buying up metals too. We see that big nations like Poland and China and India, it just goes on and on about how many different nations are stocking up on gold like we've never seen in history. So the collapse of the illegal United States corporation government is getting ready to go down. You've all read, if you're in my Telegram chat, you're seeing all kinds of Q drops of news. It's a mixture. There's supposed to be some real big dirt on Kamala coming out. I'd rather not talk about all that kind of dirt here because I know your time is very valuable. And I was talking to Belinda yesterday and I asked her for some feedback on the show. She says, Nancy, some of my friends think your shows are too long, when they're a couple of hours. And I hear you, I get it. So we are going to focus on these topics today, and we're not going to go off into other directions because we want you to know your questions have been heard by me in Facebook, in Telegram. What do you do with your money? Who can you trust? We've all heard that our monies will be mirrored. And if you're like me, you want to make sure that you're prepared just in case they're not. So what can we do? We can take responsibility for our own actions. And all we can do, Andy can do, Mark, is to make suggestions. And it's up to you to make the decision for yourself. Personally, we only keep enough money in the bank to pay bills, and then we keep our treasures elsewhere outside of the banking system because we do not trust it at all. Plus, they like to hold on to your money as long as they can so they can make more money off of your money and call it the system. This is our policy. BS. They're making money off of us. And so as we get ready to break free from the slave nation that we were born into, our parents were born into, and the handcuffs come off of us and they go on to the criminals who've created sedition, treason, and also crimes against humanity with the vaxes. All of that is coming out. And there is no question in my mind that it is going to happen, that the way to manage our hearts and to stay calm, rewatch if you haven't watched Tuesday shows, because that last Tuesday on the 22nd, that is where I talk a little bit about the ego. We can engage our egos with somebody else to be right about our position, our opinions, etc. And yet that doesn't make us right to engage our egos. When two egos go together to have the last word to be right, it kills the relationship. And so, like I say, if you're on my Facebook and you're being kind and you're expressing a difference of opinion, great. When you attack me personally, that's just so not necessary. I'm not going to take it personally because I see that it's about you and not about me. And when you praise people, when you say, I'd like to hear more, I'm getting a lot. I was sharing this with Allison yesterday. A lot of people who haven't commented or have spoken to me in a while are starting to write me personal messages. And so what Allison has done on the website is last night, this woman has been working tirelessly on your behalf to find things easily. She created a new tab on the website, and it is about the fall of the cabal. Did you want to share that? Yeah, that's great. Thank you. The takedown of the cabal from A to Z. And this is just so cool because if you're brand new or if you haven't watched the fall of the cabal, you may want to do that. We're going to cover Bill Gates in this today's podcast because he has been indicted. Bill Gates has been indicted, or should I say his clone or his actor, the puppet that's playing Bill Gates? Not sure who it is. Think he's been gone a long time ago. The people of India did not like what Bill Gates was doing to their children. So we'll find all that out in the future. But for now, I want to say aloha to Ravenheart 17. Wow, Nancy, you got the attention of the trolls. You must be over the target. Yeah, I told somebody, that's not a troll. That's somebody I've known for 27 years. Really sad, isn't it? I lost friendships over all of this when I came out in 2021 and said, oh my gosh, child trafficking is real. Elon Musk is on the white hat team. Actor, character, puppet. Everybody's an actor to me. Everyone we're seeing on the television, in my view, is playing a role. So, oh, we do have a troll here in the chat. I don't know if I can get rid of it, but oh well. You know what? Everybody just send some love over to resist the urge. because if you don't have something nice to say, you can just go bye-bye. And I have an issue with my keyboard over there, so I'll see if I can do something about that. Yet I'm really, really grateful that Allison is here. And one of the most beautiful parts of the BRICS nations and what they're doing is that, you know, this will end the forever wars. And I can't talk about this too much. How many of you have been praying and meditating for peace on earth for decades? Since I was a child, I didn't get war. I don't get it to this day. But now I understand it. I see what's going on. It's about control and takeover, color revolutions, wars to take over other nations and rob them of their resources, their gold, their oil, their diamonds, whatever they have that we want. Well, not we, the deep state cabal, the neocons that have been in our government are just bad. You can have the Cheney family, you can have Bolton, you can have whoever is siding with Kamala because they are showing their true colors. They were rhinos, Republican in name only. Now, I'm not saying I'm pro-Republican or pro-Democrat. I'm saying I don't want any of those parties or systems anymore. I want us to find the person that we want to lead our country and to be able to have an honest, fair vote for that person, and then see what kind of amazing changes we can have. Not all this made up stuff. Now, if you've been following the news and you're in the Telegram channel, you're seeing a lot about Kamala Harris coming out yesterday and having an actual press conference to declare that Trump is a Nazi. He is like Hitler. Even my dearest friends think he is Hitler. You guys are asleep. Wakey, wakey. Because that article about Trump didn't start from General Kelly. It came from the Atlantic. They are so full of misinformation and hate. And so you have to be able to look and find the resources and who said it first. So they're what do you call it? There's panic in DC. They have no idea how to stop the Trump train. And it could be Trump, it could be anybody. He is the one that had enough money, resources. He was a master of relationship. And what he's been doing is bringing people together for many, many decades to find the plan that would work the best for the American people. Not for one moment, following him for 45 years, do I believe that he would want to be the ultimate military man against the people of the United States of America. If he has, well then, yeah, go ahead, tell me I am a moron. However, I don't think so. Not one bit. Not 1 minute. This is too precious of a time. And this is why it is like a movie and there are characters and actors, because people would have lost their minds if the military would have come in 2021 and taken over with a open military presence, military martial law. That's the word I'm looking for. I do believe we have been under martial law, but not at the extent that people think. And Mark Z said today on his show that his sources, whoops, let me just flip back to my other page of notes. He says the EBS may shut down in certain cities, certain areas to clean up what needs to be cleaned up. Yet his sources have said not to worry. It's very localized and it is going to be as short as possible. Okay. So, what if you don't get an EBS message through your phone or your device? This is going to be so fascinating to see how it's rolled out. And with that, I want to welcome Rich. So grateful that you're here. And I love how Belinda, she actually blessed Resist the Urge, who is now gone out of the chat thanks to Allison. So good afternoon, sweet Kim 1958. You're just a year older than me. I wish I could use my doodad. Aloha, her wooness from the sunny shores of Tainamara, Vancouver Island. Ooh, I haven't been to that part of Vancouver Island, although Vancouver Island's incredible. Well, our beautiful Heather lives over there. There's so many people over there. Tammy's over there. Incredible. And of course, We all, oh, and Deanne 333, welcome. Pardon me for making all these moves. I'm finger scrolling. And with that, I'll bring you some more information in between the clips. We have a very long clip coming up. Well, not quite yet. Yeah, I think this is our long clip, isn't it, Allison, from Andy? Is this our 10-minute clip as far as you know? Yes. Okay, great. So sit back and relax. I didn't want to cut this up because I feel like this is what you need to know if you are, I get people who've worked in the banking industry, or they go to Google and they post these things in my chats to tell me, oh, this is natural and normal that banks get taken over and absorbed by other banks. Yeah, that's happened in the past. This isn't that. This is very different. All the banks need to be Basel III compliant. That means that they have gold-backed currencies, et cetera. They are not going to be managing our money anymore in terms of our daily banking needs. I don't think so. This is going to be about preserving our wealth through the quantum financial system. And then if you want to hire a wealth manager, you can go to the bank and do that. You do not need to have an account open. If you have RV, if you have agro, or any currency, Mark Z said, hey, I haven't given you any updates on the agro, which is good. That means it's still the same. So if you donate to the Nancy Kerner Show, $25 or more, for every $25, I'll send you a $5 billion agro. We really appreciate you supporting the show, keeping food on the table for Allison, a roof over her head, her insurance paid, everything. Just think of all your bills. She is completely dependent on making it work through your donations, contributions, and through our sponsors. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That agro, according to Mark Z, is worth $330,000 per billion. So multiply 330 times 5, or however much your agro check that you might be sitting on is worth. This isn't the Zim. This isn't the Zimbabwe Zim bond. That is worth way more. So Mark Z has quoted between $30 and $50 million. I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not a medical doctor. I do not diagnose, treat, heal, or cure anyone. And however, you have the power to heal your body using ancient wisdom of light therapy. And Allison, I think you have something ready on LifeWave to share with us. Is that correct? Yes, I can see your little head in the background. Thank you. So with that, I'll see you in a couple minutes. Let's do this LifeWave, and then I'll be back.
Hello, my name is Janie. LifeWave X39 is an answer to a prayer for me. I'm almost 70, and I was getting to the point of brain fog every day. Pain in my left elbow and knee was really bad, and my skin was beginning to wrinkle and sag. My hair grew, but not really well. I had no energy, and I was losing my zeal. I didn't want to do anything, not even my hobbies. Then X39 came along, the answer to my prayers. So what did it do for me? Well, the first day, it took away all the pain from my body and cleared all the inflammation. It gave me a natural state of well-being without any drugs or stimulants, and I liked that. It gave me a vitality for life. But at that time, my heart was a concern. But with X39, I can look forward to my heart reverse aging 8 years and 6 months. I believe in X39. My hair growing like a weed. It's also turning darker. I'm experiencing levels of health with X39 that I haven't had since I was young. The X39's light works in your body in the first 2 minutes. And then in the first 48 hours, 4,000 stem cells are rejuvenated. I had probably none. Well, maybe one. My eyesight and hearing are improved with X39. And I haven't smiled in a long time. I mean, really smiled. But now I do. So X39 makes me smile.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for her recovery and health. These stories we never get tired of hearing about. And Allison's been working diligently on creating short videos, and you'll be seeing those popping up on all my social medias in X and True Social, on Telegram, on Facebook. So you're going to see these beautiful short videos so that you can see what they do for different people. And of course, the Olympians were wearing the X39 patches and energy enhancers and performance. And the best exciting news for our Canadian people is that now they have the carnosine, the energy enhancer, and the glutathione. They have a different name. So I'm super, super grateful and happy that LifeWave has those. They're the same patch. Canadian rules have us need to give them a different title. So that's super, super exciting. Another super exciting is that we are back on YouTube on a backup channel that Allison created a while ago. And we had some strikes and they lifted it. Aloha, Anthony. Missed you. I know you're a YouTuber, so we're so grateful to see you over here. And then also we have Steph says, sending you some love, Nancy, and bright, shimmery light. Woo! You know, that's the best energy that I could receive right now is if everybody just sends the world your light beaming to them, your healing hands of light. Do you feel it? Oh my goodness, just go like this and you'll feel your hands light up. We are the most powerful healers in ever created. And that's what I'm here to remind you of. We co-create together. Allison and I have been together over a year. And so we work together at creating. If we have a problem or an issue, we send it light and love, and we ask Spirit to come in and show us the solution. And first, one of my practices is to clean my mind out of any beliefs that I may have had around a company or a person before I set that intention into place. Yes, I'm going to have a conversation with somebody. Yes, up until now, it may have been a challenging one. And I see through my CPR, context, purpose, and results, that we are on the prosperity playground in a higher consciousness, often called the Christ consciousness, because Christ was open to everyone. And that's how I feel. Are you the embodiment of Christ consciousness, which means to me pure love, acceptance, and radiance? And of course, he directed his energy against the Catholic Church, who enslaved him until he would capitulate, which he refused to do. They wanted him to come out and tell everyone that he had lied, he was been mistaken, and beg for forgiveness, or they would crucify him. So are you willing to be crucified over and over again, metaphorically speaking, by friends and family? Are you willing to stand in the light of love, peace on earth, and prosperity for all humans, and manage that mental mind frick and not engage with somebody to be right? It's the smartest person, in my humble opinion, is the one who doesn't engage. It's the one who says, I hear you, I feel you, I see you. That doesn't mean that they're right and you're wrong. What does it matter? That's the ego. Edging good out, edging God out. And so when we can manage our ego, we are golden. And then we can create from a vortex of peace in our hearts and all that we envision in our minds that can manifest in time. So thoughts held in mind follow after they're kind. And so if you're attracting people you don't want to be attracting, check with your inner self. Connect with your higher self. This is what I practice. I'm not perfect. And yet, when I make mistakes, I say, I'm so sexy, and let it go. And the I'm so sexy is a phrase that I learned a long time ago to lighten up when I am wrong, to lighten up about being right, to lighten up when things don't go the way that I think they ought to go. So, with having said that, oh, I love this, Margaret. God is helping me. Yes, love it. Wow and wow. Anthony, I can't highlight you people on Rumble or I would. So with that, I think that we are, Allison says we are so sexy together. So we have been breaking through barriers through technology and all sorts of personal things, trying to get our technology up and running. And I just want to give Allison a great big hallelujah for doing what you need to do and to coming back to center with a loving, open heart. Your job is much more challenging than mine. Managing technology is not my forte, as Allison knows. She's managing all my accounts and saying, now, what's the password to this one? What's it? I'm like, ah. So we need each other. We all have different strengths that we can draw upon. And that's why the community bond is so powerful, to build that foundation of trust. And I have so many more new friends, even though my beautiful friends that I still consider friends may have walked away from me, because you know what? This is about peace on earth, about the great awakening where everyone will see the truth together. And yet it's going to begin probably with your money, or right after. I mean, it's all interconnected. So with that, we're ready for the first part of this incredibly powerful interview. This is one of my husband's favorite interviewers. And now my husband actually likes Andy Schectman too. And he's a friend of mine. And I love him and appreciate him, Andy and my husband. So with that, go ahead and hit it, Allison, before I get in more trouble.
Absolutely talk with you about is the breaking story over the weekend, which interestingly happened over the weekend and interestingly has been terribly undercovered on the mainstream financial press, although Wall Street Journal did put out a brief blurb about it. And it's about an Oklahoma bank that failed and got put into receivership under the FDIC, and they've got plans for how they're going to provide continuity of service to their depositors. But any depositors that had deposits larger than the FDIC insurance limit are in for a rude surprise. And that was the point of the Wall Street Journal article. We want to get your take on that, because you did a really smash up job talking about that just recently. And I want to draw it back to what happened earlier last year with the failure of the three banks and the grilling that Janet Yellen got in front of congressional testimony, especially from a representative from Oklahoma, about are they going to, so it's very revealing. We've got to slow down and look at these things one thing at a time. But can you first tell our viewers and subscribers what just happened over the weekend and what the fallout is going to be for those who were depositors in this bank?
Yeah, you framed it perfectly, Dunnigan. And before I do that, I'm just going to kind of touch on what you just said. I mean, how many times on your show have I talked about bail-ins and money market gating? 2 weeks ago, we talked about money market gating and your experience in that. And the Dodd-Frank Act, after the 2008 crisis, addressed money market issues as everyone was yanking their money out of Lehman Brothers as they were failing, destabilizing the money markets. And let's remember that there's $7 trillion or just under in the money markets right now. It's not just all John Q. Public. It's not us. It's half of that money or more is institutional, pension funds and insurance companies and whatnot. And this is why they impose money market gating in the Dodd-Frank Act, because it will, if the buck were broken and the money market went upside down, it would blow up a lot of things, not just our pocketbooks, but pensions and insurance companies and all of these things that have over the last 2 years left the banking industry in search of yield. So at the same time, of course, they wrote in money market, or excuse me, bail-in legislation. And when it originally happened, and when you and I were talking about it at least 20 times, it was phrased in, or kind of framed in the light, well, why would they write it into law if it wasn't ever going to happen? So when Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank failed, banks that held Oprah Winfrey's money and all the tech startups and hundreds of millions in uninsured deposits, the senator from Oklahoma was furious, and rightfully so, when he was questioning Janet Yellen in the House inquiry. Madam Secretary, you just bailed out these banks. What the heck? That's illegal. Yes, sir, it is. You're right, Senator, but it was an uber majority vote, as she says, from the FDIC, the FOMC, which is the Federal Reserve, myself, and the president. We deemed that they were too systemic and they needed to be bailed out. Of course, it won't come at the expense of the public. Yeah, right. The FDIC will handle it. And we've talked about the FDIC's lack of coverage, roughly 7 cents on the dollar, 148 billion backing 18 trillion. Well, that's not a good recipe. But anyways, the banks that have been bailed out subsequently, or that have failed, I should say, they haven't been bailed out, but they've been consolidated, as we've been told by Jerome Powell we could expect to see. Crumbs that they drop, little crumbs. There's a crumb. Yeah, they're gonna consolidate. That's a nice way of saying they're banks that are going to collapse, and other larger regional banks or JP Morgan, those kind of banks, will assume their position. And that's what's happened so far. So this has not really been noticed. Not only do most people have no idea, even sophisticated people have no idea what bail-in legislation is. They have no idea what money market gating is. When there have been banking problems, and let's remember, we added 14,000 clients in 45 days, the panic that was the banking problem, and yet it was brushed over, glossed over by the Fed coming in or the FDIC and bailing everyone out, right? Everyone was made whole. Of course, it's a bank. We've been putting money in our piggy bank since we were little kids. The bank is safe. Putting it into an investment isn't safe, but a bank is safe, right? Well, the Dodd-Frank says you are an unsecured general creditor, i.e. last to be paid. So let's talk about the First National Bank of Lindsay, Oklahoma. And I'm going to read a couple things to you so that people really understand it. For those who haven't heard this or haven't heard me talk about it last night or earlier today, Friday, the First National Bank of Lindsay was closed by the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, with the Federal Deposit Insurance Company, the FDIC, appointed as receiver. The OCC acted after identifying false and deceptive bank records and other information suggesting fraud that revealed deception of the bank's capital. The OCC also found that the bank was in an unsafe and unsound condition to transact business, and that the bank's assets were less than its obligations to its creditors and others. Now, let's just highlight that. I want people to remember what I just said there, that their assets were less than its obligations to its creditors and others. So highlight that and remember that for a moment. The OCC is referring the matter to the U.S. Department of Justice, which has a wide variety of tools to hold individuals accountable for criminal acts and focuses on victims in all of its matters. Okay, that's good. To protect depositors, the FDIC has entered into a purchase and assumption agreement with the First Bank and Trust Company based in Duncan, Oklahoma, which will assume the insured deposits of the failed bank. Now, this bank has 7 million. It's a small bank, only 7 million in uninsured deposits, right? Anything over the FDIC limit, 7 million. Not a big bank like Silicon, which had hundreds of millions. This has 7 million. So the sole office of the First National Bank of Lindsay will reopen as a branch of First Bank and Trust Company during its normal business hours on Monday, October 21st, just a couple of days ago. All depositors of the closed bank will automatically become depositors of First Bank and Trust Company, and their insured deposits will continue to be covered by the FDIC. Okay, that's good. And customers are not required to change their banking relationship to main deposit insurance coverage. All of this is good so far until for uninsured depositors, $7 million in uninsured deposits in this small town in Oklahoma. Ironic that it was the senator from Oklahoma that was grilling Janet Yellen. The FDIC has announced it will make 50% of those funds available. That's $3.5 million of the $7 million to depositors starting Monday, October 21st. Now, here's the kicker and what you mentioned in the onset, with the possibility of increasing that amount as assets from the failed bank are sold. Now remember, the assets are less than the liabilities. So when they sell whatever assets they are. Now, I was doing an interview with David Morgan today and talking about this. He said, Andy, let me stop you. He says, I've been studying this stuff for a long time, and you're right. And what happens is that extra money they're not going to get it if they are going to get it at all. By the way, it's 4 years they have, up to 4 years to receive this money, as you and I have talked about before. But he said, it's my understanding that these people who have been affected will receive shares of the new First Bank of Duncan or whatever it is here. And so they're not going to get cash back. They'll get shares of a new bank. This is an eye-opening experience. And in essence, you have $1 million in the bank. You're going to buy a new home. You're building a new home. You're under contract. It fails. You get your 250. Okay. And in this case, because it's a small bank and there's only 7 million uninsured, of that million, you're getting 50% back right away. So that 750,000 is uninsured. You're going to get 375 plus your 250 is 6.25. That other 375, bye-bye. You ain't getting it. And you might get some shares, maybe possibly, as the thing says, over the next 4 years. Now, my question to you is, where is journalistic integrity? Where are the reporters? Where's 60 Minutes? Where's 2020? Where is the outcry? Where is this? Why is this not on the front page of anything that is news, or on the opening of any news story? Why isn't it all over CNN and Fox News and Bloomberg? It's a joke. And it's a trial balloon. Look, this happened. It was public information. Didn't you see it happened in Lindsay? So all that it will take is for a bank to be bailed in, a big bank, really bailed in, and maybe they don't even get the 50%, or a money market gating environment to trigger craziness. I would like to add one last piece to this before I take any questions or comments from you. When Silicon and Signature failed, remember they issued the BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Program, and that was a 1-year loan with onerous terms. They had to post collateral mark to market at about 5% interest. And if you look at what the liquidity in the banking system looked like right before they started that, they put that money in because things were collapsing as liquidity was drying up. Bill Holter always talks about this environment being one of a potential liquidity crisis. Well, it looks exactly like it did in 2019, right before the repo market blew up, and exactly like what it looked like in 2020 when the stock market blew up. And that's exactly what it looked like when those banks failed, a liquidity crisis. So they injected all this money. Now, guess what day the BTFP is set to be drained to zero? All of the loans must be paid back. You have a guess what day that is?
I think it's the day before the election.
It'd be the day after the election.
The day after the election.
And so you want to talk about a rug pull. If they really wanted to pull the rug and set Trump up for this kind of, if he wins or whoever wins, maybe if it's Trump, maybe they like it. Maybe they extend it, or maybe not. Maybe in the midst of craziness, in terms of half the country being beside themselves, and what we've seen over the last few years is any indication of what we could see. It's frightening. Add into it people losing their money. And as Gerald Celente often says, when people lose everything, they lose it. So, you got 5 million in the bank and all you get back is 250,000. Are you going to lose it? I think a lot of people would. I think people need to.
Would you lose it if you had all that money in the bank and it disappeared and then they can't give it back to you? Well, Mark Z said this morning on his show, on the original Mark Z on YouTube and on Rumble, if you haven't heard, pardon me, wrong one. I'm so sexy. Is there enough Xanax and or gummies to keep us sane when 30 to 40% of the population hears that Trump won? Now, we do know, he says, be prepared for a lot of melting down. Yeah, remember that meme of that gal screaming, with the glasses on and the green? She's iconic. This is what's going to happen because people are so rigid in their thinking and so committed to their belief that Trump is Hitler, etc., because they've been brainwashed by the Mockingbird media. And I'm sure they say the same about me. However, I learned in 2013 about Ripple, and I have a pink t-shirt. I wore it one day on the show. My beautiful friend Faith gave it to me, and we were in a meeting with these gentlemen who were creating when you go onto a site, you're trying to log in, maybe one of your sites, and you get all these different pictures, and you're supposed to click on the bicycle or the fire hydrant or whatever. These guys were creating that at that time. And so Militiaman was on Mark Z this morning, and we'll hear from him in a moment. And I encourage you to go watch the entire show. It's very good. Militiaman is an expert in his field because he has Samson, I think is in Australia. He has the Militiaman crew, and they pore over documents. They study Iraq like, when you're passionate about something, that's their lane. That's all they do. And so he said that XRP Ripple could tap 40 currencies in an instant to get liquidity instantly. So the world is changing. This is not the CDC or whatever it's called, the CD, that coin that they want to scare you into getting. No, 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 no. We have the quantum field, the quantum financial system, and true cryptos that are supportive of this system. And of course, you have to do your due diligence. And that's why we go to Zester, Mark Z's son, on the Crazy Cryptonaut show that's on, I believe, both YouTube and Rumble now. And he has a Discord where you can go into his channel, you can ask questions. He has taught Allison and I and many of our viewers so much about crypto, because I used to say to Mark, when is your son going to come on? Because Zester hadn't made an appearance yet, and teach crypto for grannies. And I'm not an expert, yet I know enough to get XRP, etc., in my Coinbase. So I can't teach you that. Please don't ask me to. Cannot do it. Zester can, or find whoever you trust. And I think it's probably a good time to ask you to please like and share if you like the podcast with your friends or on your social media. This is the time where I am standing in my power of authentic knowingness of what I know and what my husband and I have planned and prepared for decades. This has been a long overdue process. We've never seen anything like this. It's much better than he or I could have ever dreamed or imagined, that by reducing and getting rid of the cabal, by cutting the snake off at the head, which is their money supply. So, we see that our government just sent more money over to Ukraine. This is how they funnel money for their dirty projects like human trafficking and bioweapons, like the pandemic. All of those in the past have been plans. They do not help us. The big pharma, the medical doctors who are in alignment with all of that are not here to help us. We have to take the power back. We choose to take our power back over our health and our wealth and our freedom to become the true sovereign human beings that we were born to be, and to co-create a new world, a new earth where everything's going to look different. These labor strikes have just been warnings to everyone that the shipping ports could shut completely down for a period of time. Short period of time, hopefully. Yet even Mark Z and others are saying stock up for a few months. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think that we would have to go through it that hard, because the military white hats will be providing food for those who need it. And yet it might be up to you to help feed your neighbor or your family. So stock up extra if you can afford it. And if nothing else, take care of yourself and stay connected to friends, because we don't want people to go into HALT, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And in my line of work, I find that many of us, especially women, are starving for connection. We need to be in relationship with one another. We are wired for relationships. And so, are you hungry? Are you feeling hungry? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling tired? Well, the best way to help you with that is to stay connected with 2 or more people in your high vibe tribe who can help walk you back into your natural state of mind, which is peace, prosperity, and wisdom, intuitive intelligence, to trust yourself on what is being said. And if it lands in your body and it's not an absolute yes, it may be a no for now, just like it was for me when I started learning about the children being trafficked. I'd heard about the famous actors, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, talking about it. I didn't get it until 2021. This is a real human tragedy. It's the number one trade in the world is human beings. It's ridiculous, but I do have a good update on that. And that was with Fernando gave Mark Z some information. Just to give you that quick update in case you don't watch his entire show. They did do the 250 people rescue thanks to Mark Z and his followers who donated. They raised over $11,000 so that this could happen. And he shared some pictures, I think, yesterday on that. If you want to go back and watch his shows, he has 2 shows, one in the morning. It's 7 a.m. Pacific time and one in the evening, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So Mark Z is a wonderful news analyst. He is really, really good. And so what they found, sadly, was there were many males in this rescue and they were zip tied to their beds. This took place in Colombia, and it was an assisted rescue with other authorities as well. They worked together, and Fernando helped to lead that and facilitate it. So we're so grateful for ATB, Anti-Trafficking Bureau, with Jennifer and Fernando and the rest of their team. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts to the top of our chakras. Thank you, and may you be blessed and feel loved, and you get some rest, because I know you're going to be going into your next mission. And that's not, he needs a huge team of people to help combat this horrific tragedy that's gone underground, across the seas, on the evergreen ships, etc. And we know Hillary's code name is Evergreen. And so, they had a little side business going on. And Jeremy did a fantastic deep dive and decode for us in his gold and silver coffee chat. And he was showing us what the little plus signs are next to inside the Q drops, plus, 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 plus. They're talking about the trillions of dollars that Miss Hillary was connected to. So if you didn't think that the world was as crazy as I'm telling you it is, then buckle up, because you're about to get it in your face with the handcuffs and perp walks. And we're going to be talking about one of those later in the show. And for now, we have the illustrious Mark Z.
New speaker,
Aloha,
Iraqi
everyone.
Parliament.
We're so
There's a
grateful
lot
that
going.
you've
Oh, it's
tuned
getting
in
ready to
to
be
hear this
juicy in Iraq. I know
beautiful
we need to get to.
testimonial from my powerful friend and Aloha, everyone. We're so grateful that you've tuned in to hear this beautiful testimonial.
We have a little technical issue. It's bringing up our secret patching sister from yesterday. I think Allison's sorting that out right now. And that's okay, Allison. You just let me know when you're ready. It must have attached itself to Mark's whatever you're sharing on him. So we'll give her a moment to do that. Oh, there she goes. Thank you, Allison.
New speaker for Iraqi Parliament. There's a lot going. Oh, it's getting ready to be juicy in Iraq. I know we need to get to the news banner before you get to. We got a lot of news coming out of Iraq this morning. A lot of very interesting stuff coming out of Iraq on the bond side, guys. Don't know if I'm going to be able to share what I learned, but it does certainly make me feel like EBS is possible on the weekend. Based on what I'm hearing from the bond side, I would say anywhere between now and and guys, this is projected. That doesn't mean it's in concrete. Anywhere between now and the 6th, I would expect November 6th, anywhere between here and now. Doesn't mean that it's waiting that far. Pretty good chance you'll be seeing some different rates and doing some banking. Really good chance from what we are hearing right now. Yeah, I'm going to be ignoring a lot of you guys' questions this morning because you guys are going to be like pushing really hard on a certain subject that I cannot answer.
Is that exciting? Hello, hello, aloha. Whoop, 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 whoop. Go, Mark. Go, Mark. Oh, my goodness. I'm doing the happy dance. Oh, my goodness. 4 years of our family and friends saying, you're nuts. Don't talk to me anymore. You don't know what you're talking about. Hallelujah. Let's go. Who's ready for it? And what timing would that be? Isn't it Monday? That it's the anniversary of the greatest stock market crash in the history. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much more devastating and yet so much more beautiful. What better way to clean out the cabal's big 5 corporations that run the world with their products of distribution, toxic food, poisonous ingredients, clothing that we're not meant to breathe in, polyesters. Well, this isn't polyester, but you know what I'm saying. Well, maybe it has a little bit in it. Belinda RN, pray up, everyone. Oh my gosh, are you just like, whoo, we could just end now. Just have a party. I can't wait to have that dance party with you. Oh my goodness. I don't know what else to say other than it gets better. Okay. How many of us have been waiting for those fake actors on television like Bill Gates parading around in the Mockingbird media, making it look like everything is normal. And Bill Gates is just walking around outside in the world. Hillary, Obama, Big Mike, all of it. No, we're watching characters who have filled in so that we don't have civil war. And yes, people are going to have their minds blown, but when they see the gamut of crimes and the truth come out and the markets crash and the banks close, they're going to be begging someone to do something. And who do you think that someone will be? Donald J. Trump? That's who I would want. That's why I have followed him for 45 years. That's why I voted for him and knew I was going to vote for him before he even announced it, because he is the one who wants to get rid of all these taxes for us. And then we will have a one tax on new items only for 14%. Sure, gasoline, et cetera, may still be taxed. However, no more taxes on, if you have an old home and you sell it, you don't have to pay taxes on that. Or you buy an old home, you don't have to pay taxes on that. Tammy asks, are the agros part of it? And at the same time, we don't know exactly what baskets everything is. I'm hoping they will be, yes, they will be a part of it. And hopefully they will come in first, in the first basket. We are just on the precipice, Tammy, of you finding that relief that you're so needing. And everyone else, everyone I talk to is just, a lot of people are hanging on by their fingernails right now, and others just trust spirit, God, source, whatever you want to call your higher power. That part of religion and spirituality. This is one of our freedom of speeches, to speak how we believe. And it's not to shove my beliefs down anybody's throats. I want to hear from everyone. I love all the different nationalities and their prayers and the way that they are praying for, peace and harmony and love and respect. And so as we pray for that for ourselves, as we hold that intention for ourselves, that we can be led with a divine light. and know and trust ourselves, trust our intuition, trust that small, still voice that talks to you that says, maybe you need to do this. And then you might ignore it and go, oh, I had the thought I ought to do that, and I didn't. So you really need to take those passing thoughts and think about them. Is it time for me to purchase some agro or some Iraqi dinar? Is it time to buy some silver? Is it time to get my money out of the bank and just leave enough in there to pay a few bills? Is it time for all of this to happen? And everything in my beautiful light body is saying, yeah, it's time. It's way past time in my book, yet we are in divine time. This isn't about me. It's not about you. It's about divine order and trusting in the timing of all of these events. It can't happen a minute before or a minute after. It's going to happen exactly and precisely. Precision. Phil taught us that. Think about precision. And will you be vindicated? Yes. Will we be flaunting being right in front of other people? No. But we'll be doing the happy dance at home. I'll be wearing my I told you so shirt to my hubby, who did not believe me and who now actually asked me, what do you think is happening now? Because we listen to different sources, and yet we have a foundation of what's important. Our family first, well, our sobriety first, and our family and our spirituality and managing our own health and wealth so that we can enjoy our life. And if we don't move it, we lose it. So our bodies, my husband's out with the dog right now, Mr. Ranger, and they're on a very long walk. And this dog has been so amazing. Those of you who are dog whisperers, animal whisperers, I've been communicating with him in such a fun way. I'll wink at him because he just stares at me. You know, he'll lay down and watch me work, and he'll sleep, and then he'll look up at me and I'll wink. And guess what? I get single eye winks back. Tell me these animals aren't in touch, connected to consciousness, powered by our thoughts, loving them, appreciating them. Now, treat ourselves as well as we treat our human animals. Eat properly the way that we want our animals to eat, and think consciously with each animal that we're connected to, with each human being, just like Belinda did, sending love to the troll. Obviously, people who are hurting hurt other people. People who've been hurt or wounded tend to lash out and hurt other people. That's why dysfunctional, abused mothers tend to raise people who either want to break out of that system and cycle and get out of that toxic family system, or they want to be able to improve themselves. And take note that just because we have parents who we love doesn't mean that they know as much as what you know right now. And we can't always choose our family. And I love my family. Yet we can choose our spiritual family or our higher purpose family, our humanitarian families, and we will be working together on projects that will be good for the greater good of all. And so I'm holding your dream, Belinda, of having your animal rescue in place. Many people have that as one of their intended projects. And many people that I know in my realm want to have retreat centers where people can enjoy basking in the presence of peace in those retreats. And for me, have a lot of fun and return to bliss, a blissful mind. You know, we see so much more when we're at peace with ourselves and at peace with the world. That's when we elevate our consciousness to a 30, 40-foot view. And that's how spirit brings us exactly what we need to see, hear, and know in the moment when we ask, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say, and to whom? And with that, it's time to hear from one of our favorites. Boom, 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 boom. RFK. Get those Kennedys mixed up. There's a lot more Kennedys walking around in the world than you know about. Maybe some of you do. That family continued to have children and raise children and bring them up for this purpose, this undercover PSYOP sting operation. And I believe we will be able to meet many of them when it's all done. So with that, play it, Allison.
and I read an article from the New York Times that Bill Gates had just donated $50 million to Kamala Harris's campaign. And the article said that it was the first donation that he's made in 20 years, that he stayed out of politics, that he's been bipartisan. It was a dark money donation. He didn't intend for it to be public. He routed the donation through a 501c4, which was an organization that was set up to conceal large money donations to the Harris campaign. Now, he said, when the Times asked him, he said he had donated zero in the 2020 campaign when President Biden was running against President Trump. And he said this campaign is different than any other. And so he felt the need to do this. Now, do you think Bill Gates made that donation out of a patriotic impulse? Do you think he made it out of a humanitarian impulse? Do you think he made it because he wants global health? Or because he wants to make America healthy again? Well, there was something else, another article about Bill Gates that came out today that said he's just been indicted. He's been indicted in the Netherlands.
Aloha, can you guys hear me? I think we lost Allison. Can you give me a thumbs up? And I'm not sure, I guess I can remove that. Please, in Rumble or on YouTube or Facebook, please let me know if you can still hear me, because it looks like we're still streaming. So this is a little bit of a technical challenge or issue, and I'm just going to carry on as if we are still streaming, because, oh, yeah, she went out and she's coming back in. Okay, great, Dee. Thank you so much. All right, Janet Bailey, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Bud. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so what I wanted to say is that Margaret says, Commander-in-Chief Trump. Welcome back, Allison. I see you there. It did cut off, so I don't know if we have that or not.
I do have it. I lost power again, just, conveniently. It's really entertaining. They think they can stop me, but I got news for them. I don't know where.
Well, she's just you just glitched again. So can you do me a favor, please? And Robert wants to know where we can buy the X39 patches. He's over on YouTube, and if you could drop the link there for him.
Rich from the
no,
Telegram?
not Rumble.
Okay,
in YouTube.
I don't
Robert,
have
I've got him right on the screen here.
Robert, okay, got it. I will give him the link. It's right here, though. Let me go ahead and put it up for you. It is the quantumhealing.nancykerner.com. And there'll be a way to set your appointment there. But I'll make sure and get it in there. I just don't have the chats open. It closed everything for me so nicely.
Okay.
I well, the RFK, but I don't know where y'all stopped.
Well, you know what? I think it's important just to drop the link into the show notes and let people watch it from there, because, yeah, it was very close to the end. And thank you, Allison. And Tammy says, My cat loves the Wave Watch. Your cat loves the Wave Watch. How cool is that? I know we've been putting the patches on Little Ranger because he has a little bit of lump. I'm not concerned about it. And yet we do everything we can because resonance healing, thoughts plus the ethers equals healing, and light, of course, light. Everything begins with light. Where have you heard that before? And so let's see, what else do I have? We did hear from RFK talking about Bill Gates being indicted and that he doesn't want to be in the American court system. He, clone, actor, whatever. So he donated $50 million to Kamala. Why is that? Because they're going to try and rig the election again. We're having a repeat of 2020. No matter what they pull, whether they disconnect the internet or blow up Washington, D.C., whatever they do, we will be prepared and trust that this is happening in order, that it's moves, counter moves, right? And so then when it's our turn to move into the EBS, then we will. We do have some updates on the BRICS nations, and I think that is so funny. I had to laugh because you know how Google saves your searches and they know what you are looking at, etc. I was on Mark Z's chat this morning, and there's a funny man there, and he's a really cool guy, and his name's Booger, Boogar. And I said, where should I go to look for the latest BRICS updates? And he goes, the internet. And I just laughed. I was hoping he could give me something else. And so I went to the internet and I put in updates on the BRICS 2024 summit. And what came up first? My podcast from Tuesday. I had to laugh. Laughing is such good medicine. We laugh at ourselves, we laugh at each other, and we say, I'm so sexy when something's really obvious, like go to the internet. Here, I thought I'd get some good private place to go look at things like Zero Hedge, which you can do. You can go to Zero Hedge and they'll update you on things like this. So with that, are you ready, Miss Allison?
Did you want me to go over this for you? The BRICS adds, this is also exciting. BRICS adds Nigeria 12 new nations as partner countries. That's huge. BRICS has officially expanded its alliance, adding 13 new nations as partner countries. 13 people, though not as full members. The announcement was made during the BRICS summit held in Kazan, Russia. That's huge enough on its own. From October 22nd till today, the 24th. The 2024 summit themed Strengthening Multilateralism for Fair Global Development and Security marked the 16th annual gathering of the bloc with a focus on enhancing economic integration with key emerging nations. And I'm going to put this article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we are so excited about this. This is really, really cool, right, Nancy?
It is so very cool. 12 new nations. Now remember, for those of you who've been studying this for a while, as Allison gets ready to queue up that next article about the BRICS, we were told by Charlie Ward that there were a total of 209 nations who are joining the BRICS. And it started with Brazil, Russia, India, and China. I'm pretty sure that's how it started. And they've been meeting for decades and talking about, the possibilities and how this could look. Now, if there wasn't a powerful leader in the background helping to orchestrate these relationships, these friendships, because the cabal, the deep state cabal, wants you to think that we're at war with everyone, that Russia's bad, that China's bad, that, whoever the boogeyman is, and that we need to fight them. We need to, send more money to Ukraine to fight Russia. Well, Ukraine is part of Russia. They came in and completely stripped that country and used its resources for bad in a color revolution of taking down their government and implementing actors, fake actors. And so when that money, when these, just like we have the mafia, right? In the United States, we've grown up knowing there was a mafia. Well, that's what that's what China has. They have the CPP, Chinese CCP, Chinese Communist Party. Same thing, mafia, part of the deep state, taking over farmlands and countries, etc. So, what happens when you have leaders who want the best for their nations come together and say, Houston, we have a problem. We need to take our power back. And our powers and our resources, our assets, our commodities, our trade. Why wouldn't, who wouldn't want to be a part of that if you're a true peaceful human being who truly cares about your people? So no matter what anybody says about, us being on the wrong track right now, I've never seen anything as beautiful as these people shaking hands, meeting in Russia at the BRICS nations. This is relationship building. And of course, like always, when I talk about this, it's important to add they cannot use their military to attack another nation in the BRICS, or they'll be out of the World Trade Organization. It's not going to happen, right? This is like, a lot of people might be going, oh, that'll never happen. And I hear it. I hear it intimately from people I know that, oh my gosh, it's going to be horrible. They're going to bring Kamala and put her in. They're going to steal the election. They're going to, shut us down. They're going to take our guns. They're going to do this and do that. That I don't believe is what would happen. It would have happened, no doubt about it. It would have happened had we not have this global alliance working together in harmony, like a symphony, playing the tune to keep us grounded and centered and give us enough information to know that we're not alone. Digital warriors, digital truthers, you are making a difference by sharing what you are. And notice they're not taking that stuff down off of Facebook so much anymore. Very, very little. So things are changing. This is our 2020 moment all over again. And who knows? What if the elections are all done by 11/2? Think of the Law of War Manual, 11/2. Maybe it won't even make it to 11/5, as Trump has said. Maybe we'll, get out there and vote early. They want us to vote early so they can capture all those good votes coming in to know truly the lead that he has. He fills stadiums. And then you look at Kamala, word salad, yo-yo, dodo head, who doesn't make sense of anything. And if she had the power, she would have used it to improve upon the country. What has she done? Nothing. Because that's an actress, in my humble opinion. The real Kamala is already been dealt with. So, and you know what? I might blow your mind when I say that. Oh, thank you, Bud, for correcting me. The S in BRICS is for South Africa. Mwah. Teamwork makes the dream work. And let me just check in with Allison. I think she has something next for us to take a look at.
I do. I didn't know if you wanted to go over it or what, but here you go.
You can, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Modi and Xi hold first informal meeting in 5 years at BRICS summit in Russia. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping held their first formal meeting in 5 years after a violent border confrontation between the two countries threw bilateral relations into a tailspin. The meeting on the sidelines of the BRICS summit in Russia's Kazan came soon after the neighbors confirmed that they had reached a deal to resolve the military standoff on their Himalayan frontier. The meeting of leaders of the two warring parties was one of the main highlights of the BRICS 2024 summit hosted by Russian leader Vladimir Putin, giving a major boost to his image on the global stage amid Western efforts to isolate Russia over the Ukraine war. Mr. Xi told Mr. Modi that they should enhance communication and cooperation and effectively manage differences. Quote, it is the fundamental interest of the two countries and the peoples for China and India to correctly grasp and the trend of history and the direction of development of their relations. And we'll put this in the link for y'all to be able to read the whole thing. But it includes a post from him on X about it. Basically, it's just so exciting. I'm just, for it to be in Russia to start with, that's just wow to me. I mean, they just don't do that. They don't.
Well, and Allison, remember why Russia? Because Russia, when Biden came into office, supposedly, that's when they cut off Russia from being able to purchase oil and energy, et cetera. And so Russia stopped using the USD and started using gold and working with partners who would accept that gold to get the resources that their country needed. So we did that. Well, not us. I totally want to just distance myself from the cabal. So he was forced to. He wants to take care of the Russian people. And that's what we want all the leaders to want, right?
Well, that's when the ruble went on gold at that point. That was right. A long time ago, right? It was a long time. It was like last year, maybe, or before. I don't know.
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
It's been a good while. Like that was huge, and it was like the media, the legacy media or the lamestream, however you want to look at it, nobody, there was no hoopla, there was no nada, it's just the way they work. That's for not for long.
Yeah, they gave the bird to the U.S. Fiat for oil dollar and said, we are paying in gold, our ruble, like you said, and so this is what BRICS is all about. Everybody using their own commodities, what they have. And Iraq is becoming diverse. They're going to do not only oil, they're going to their city that they're rebuilding is going to look more like Dubai. They're going to have tourism. They're going to have natural gas. They're going to have gold. So this is a whole new world that we're moving into. And isn't that exciting?
We're going to have a whole new United States of America of some kind. It might be, Canada and a whole bunch of other stuff in with us. And it might just be whatever it is. The best is yet to come is not just a cliche. I really believe in my heart and soul and spirit with everything I have, because it's like just on the brink. We can almost touch it, right?
Yes, we can. I know that Belinda's pretty excited. EBS this weekend. Pray up, everyone. Possibly this weekend. And then Harwoona says, I love that Ranger winks. That is over the top cool. Takes us into the woo-woo. And there is somebody who just posted a link in there. I'm not sure if that link is cool to keep in there or not. Maybe somebody could click on it and let us know. I cannot respond over there. Yet, in order for us to complete the show, because Allison was just going in and out while you were talking, that we will move on now. And we have one last video with Andy. Is that correct? There we go. Okay.
Large amounts in it that are uninsured, and those numbers would be in spades, and they only are giving 3.5 million of coverage here. That 50% should say we're only covering 3.5 million of the 7, and it would resonate a lot more with people. I think.
So whatever you can send to the campaign, we put it into commercials. We're doing a lot of commercials, and they're really good.
Mm-hmm. And Michael Guadano asks, Andy, any relevant news from the BRICS conference?
What I think they're trying to do right now is show the world they got their act in order. You see and then again, it's like marketing to the West, in my opinion. There hasn't been a lot of news out yet. On Thursday, they'll start making more announcements. which is the last day. But the three things that stuck out to me was they're showing that they have that the countries involved are putting aside their differences. It was announced that Saudi Arabia and Iran would take part in joint naval exercises. This is Sunni and Shiite who've hated each other. You remember a year ago, the Chinese, the adult in the room, brokered a peace deal, even going as far as having embassies in each other's countries, but brokered a peace deal between these two countries that have disliked each other for a long time. But now we're in the BRICS, and it's a cooperative union, and we are putting our differences aside for the common good. And today, Modi and Xi Jinping spoke on the sideline. If you remember, back in South Africa, they did the same thing, where they tried to settle their differences of the border dispute. And again, they are saying that that is indeed what they are doing now, and putting their differences aside for the greater good. And they want people to see that here you have countries that have been at each other's throats for years, if not longer, decades or even centuries. And now for the common good, they are putting these differences aside, and it's much easier to be cooperative than be in constant conflict. The other thing is that we've talked ad nauseum about Enbridge, and the unit, which will enable these countries to trade with one another over the cross-border payment system of Enbridge with their local currencies, and it will enable these countries to buy things like oil and other commodities with the unit token, which we have been told by Dalma Rousseff, the head of the New Development Bank, that in principle we've agreed to it. It'll be pegged to gold. But they also have come out, and that's for the big money, the state, maybe the commercial banks on behalf of the state. But they have issued something called BRICS Pay, which is kind of like, according to Vince Lancy, I think he gave a great analogy of it, a monetary passport, which is that any one of the BRICS member countries can seamlessly purchase goods and services in any BRICS country using BRICS Pay. It seamlessly and immediately converts just using your BRICS Pay card. So they're basically saying we have covered our settlement currency. We've talked a lot about Enbridge, that we're putting our differences aside, that we are getting our house in order, and we are all on the same page. And now we have the ability for the consumer to trade within this ecosystem wherever they are within the BRICS union. So they're showing cooperation. They are showing the ability to not use the dollar to settle on a large scale and bring it all the way down to a retail level. Those are the things that I've taken away so far. And there hasn't been a lot of news that has come out yet, other than, I think it's a big deal that you see these countries trying to mend fences. In particular, always, India and China don't like each other, and Saudi Arabia and Iran hate each other. Well, those are the two news stories they came out with. And maybe there's some legitimacy to it. Maybe it's marketing. I don't know. But if indeed this is what they are accomplishing, it's a huge deal. If for the greater good, you get these countries as allies, let's just forget about it. I don't remember what we were fighting for, kind of thing. It's a huge deal. It is a trend in motion, and there'll be more clarity by the end. By Friday, there ought to be a lot of stuff to talk about. But as of right now, it's just 2 days in. That's what I've taken away so far.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to the Prosperity Playground with Andy Scheckman. So appreciate that. The BRICS Pay. BRICS Pay. Hello. Wakey, wakey, everyone. The banking system as we've known it up until now, it will no longer be. One of these days, please feel the love that we have for you and take care of yourself. And don't wait until it's too late to make a decision. Act today to stock up. Be prepared. Stay calm. Yeah, get your Xanax and gummies out if you use them. I, for one, am very, very grateful and humble. We do need to wrap this up. Bud, thank you. Nasara, world peace. Nasara equals world peace. And that is so good. That is what all of us want. And I'm very grateful to be alive, the gift of life right now. It just makes my eyes sweat when I think about how important this is to the world. This isn't about the US, this is about the world. World peace is possible on the Prosperity Playground. We love you, we appreciate you. And there was something I was going to share about the mind. However, I will say that hugs to you too, Tammy. Grateful that you were here. And, you know, the Serenity Prayer has saved my butt, you know, especially whenever learning something new, like for me to live life without alcohol and, you know, those harder drugs that I was using, like cocaine, etc., and to make my children a priority. Really, I love them with all my heart, and yet a conscious, fully conscious parent is the best gift that I could have given them. And they are fully conscious young men in, you know, almost 40 and 45, and I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't feel more blessed. And I do look forward to the moment where they see that, you know, I was doing my best to help prepare our family's legacy these last years, and to help people to see not just my family, but my friends, my loved ones, and now complete strangers who tune in to watch occasionally. We're not a huge podcast. That's not what this is about. This is about speaking and informing people who want to have it delivered in a way from the heart that you can feel the truth in your body, because your body is the most advanced computer in the world. You're way more advanced than a computer, and spirit will guide you when you ask for help. A lot of people are going to hit their knees, and if you're one of those, that you're hitting your knees and saying, "Dear God, if there is a God, please help," like I did in 1988, then congratulations, because this moment of surrendering the ego and opening up to the morphogenic fields of energy and intuition and guidance awaits all of us. It's there for us. We just need to claim it for our own. We are connected to the source. And once we realize that and recognize it, life can be a magical experience, kind of like a magic carpet ride. And so the prayer that I used over and over and over again, and my kids know this, sometimes they'll send me a gift, a bracelet that has a Serenity Prayer on it. Well, my daughter-in-law, Michelle, did. And it is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And with that, aloha. Have a beautiful day. And if there's something to report, we will come back if we can and shout to the rooftops of consciousness, higher consciousness to the people, and say, we're there. We are crossing the finish line together. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, everyone. We love you. Aloha.
America is a land of heroes, a place where greatness is born, where destinies are forged, and where legends come to life. This is the home of Thomas Edison and Teddy Roosevelt, of many great generals, including Washington, Pershing, Patton, and MacArthur. This is the home of Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman, the Wright brothers, Neil Armstrong, and so many more. This is the country where children learn names like Wyatt Earp, Davy Crockett, and Annie Oakley. This is the place where the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth and where Texas patriots made their last stand at the Alamo. The American nation was carved out of the vast frontier by the toughest, strongest, fiercest, and most determined men and women ever to walk on the face of the earth. Our ancestors braved the unknown, tamed the wilderness, settled the Wild West, lifted millions from poverty, disease, and hunger, vanquished tyranny and fascism, ushered the world to new heights of science and medicine, laid down the railroads, dug out the canals, raised up the skyscrapers, Our ancestors built the most exceptional republic ever to exist in all of human history, and we are making it greater than ever before. This is our glorious and magnificent inheritance. We are Americans. We are pioneers. We are the pathfinders. We settled the new world. We built the modern world. And we change history forever by embracing the eternal truth that everyone is made equal by the hand of Almighty God. America is the place where anything can happen. America is the place where anyone can rise. And here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. We look at tomorrow and see unlimited frontiers just waiting to be explored. Our brightest discoveries are not yet known. Our most thrilling stories are not yet told. Our grandest journeys are not yet made. The American age, the American epic, the American adventure has only just begun. Our spirit is still young. The sun is still rising. God's grace is still shining. And my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com, on social media, and remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful, so I want to say thank you for this day.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. To find out more, contact your distributor. LifeWave. Live long, live well.